Hi everyone, I'm Kate Kennedy and I'm here with day 54 of 100 Days of Kane, PA. And people come to Kane for a variety of reasons, and a lot of times people choose to stay here. And today we're going to talk with Mrs. Kay Magnuson, who came when she was 22 years old and has been here for the last 70 years, teaching, making friends, singing, and raising her family. So I'm going to go ahead and flip you around so you can come hear her tell her stories for herself. Hello, Mrs. Magnuson.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Well, hey, thank you so much for having us here today. We're really looking forward to hearing the stories that you have to tell about your time here in Kane. Let's go ahead and begin with what brought you to Kane.
I came here to teach.
So you were, where were you before you moved here?
I was in Edinburgh, and that's where I went to college too.
And how did you decide to apply for a teaching job in Kane?
Well, it was part way between Edinburgh and Potter County, where my relatives lived, and I had one friend who gave me Mr. Rickart's name, and so I applied through him.
So Mr. Rickert was the superintendent at the time?
That's correct.
And when you got hired, what was your first teaching position here?
I taught fourth grade at Clay Street School.
And can you tell us a little bit about that first year of teaching? Who were some of the students? What were some of the things that you remember about that year?
I just remember they were so many nice ones. I had Mike Miller in my class. I had Dave Harry. I had Judy Byam. I had Seth Bloomquist, for just a few of them that I remember.
So this is fourth grade at Chestnut Street Elementary School, your first year teaching. Where did you live?
I had a room across the street from Clay Street School with the Cranes with their last name.
So they rented you a room and you would sleep in the room, and did they provide any meals or anything?
They provided breakfast for me and a place for supplies to make my lunch.
And what did you do for dinner during those days?
Then I walked from Clay Street down to the Hillcrest restaurant and met three of my friends who were also new teachers in Kane.
And so you would do that every day?
That's correct. And then on Fridays, we usually went to the arcade restaurant.
What did you get there?
We got fish there.
The fish fry at the arcade, which is was on Fraley Street, right?
That's correct.
Oh, that sounds like a fun way to spend time with your friends, and a way, being new to town, to have some connection with other people by going to dinner together every night. Mm-hmm. Okay, for first year, fourth grade, Clay Street, you were telling me earlier about a musical. Music's been important to you your whole life. So what did you do that first year with music?
Well, for the children in fourth grade, I used white crepe paper and made little robes for them. Mm-hmm. And we sang for PTA, and we sang two-part harmony.
That's pretty impressive for your first year there. All right, so how long were you at Clay Street teaching?
I taught 4 years there.
Who were some of the teachers that you worked alongside of?
Virginia Uplinger was one. Pauline Jacobus. Gertrude Zampona. There were others, but those are the ones I remember now.
Yeah, right. That sounds like a nice group. And then after your 4 years there, where did you go?
I stayed home and raised a family mostly after that. And then I did substitute a little at Westside School. And later, I taught 1 year in James City. I substituted for some months down in Ludlow. And then I went to Central School.
Wow, so you really made your rounds. You got to experience teaching in a lot of different schools.
That's right.
And by the time you retired, which school were you in?
I was down at Chestnut Street School.
So you went from Clay Street to James City and West Side and Ludlow, Central, and then ended in Chestnut. You really did make the rounds there.
And I taught 4th, 5th, and 6th grade at different times.
Okay. Well, you said that you stopped teaching for a while to raise your family. So could you share with us how you met your husband here in Kane?
Well, when I came to Kane, and I liked music, and I joined the Methodist Church Choir, and that's where I met my husband.
What was your first date?
We went to a movie. It was Westward Ho, the Women.
Oh yeah, is there anything that you want to tell us about seeing that movie?
Well, I had gone with the girls on Friday night, but when he asked me to go out on Saturday night, I didn't tell him that I've already seen it the night before.
Well, that was a good move because it sounds like it worked out for you.
It did.
So what year did you guys get married?
In 1952.
Okay, and then you had your first baby?
In 1953.
All right, and so you stopped teaching, and how many children do you have altogether?
I have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls.
All right, and then when you decided to go back to school or to teaching, how did you guys make that decision, you and your husband?
Well, at that time, my husband worked in the office at Kane Manufacturing, and then on weekends he helped install storm windows, and that meant he was gone on Saturdays, and the boys weren't happy about that. So he said that if I went back to teaching, then he would quit this extra job.
All right, and you liked teaching, so it sounded like a fair deal to you, huh?
Yes, and he said he'd help with the housework.
Well, that's a good man there. Oh, so that worked out well. What year did you retire?
In 1989.
So you've been retired for about 30 years now.
30 years.
And you're still here in Kane, still loving it.
Right.
Well, we had talked about how you've always loved music, how you had your 4th graders your first year do a performance. What were the ways that you were involved in music here in Kane?
Well, when I first came to Kane, I joined the women's chorus, and that was directed by Mame Schreiber.
And that was at the Methodist Church?
No, that was a community.
Oh, the community chorus.
Choir.
Yes. Oh, okay.
And then, of course, I joined the choir at the Methodist Church, too.
And did your husband do other choirs as well in addition to the Methodist Church?
Yes, he belonged to the men's chorus, and he sang with the Sugar Cane Quartet.
I love that name, the Sugar Cane Quartet. Who were the other members of that?
Bob Johnson and Norm Weil.
And there's one more.
And Harry Myers.
Harry Myers. All right. So the 4 of them would go around singing and performing.
That's right.
And you were in a trio, weren't you?
That was really in college that I sang in a trio.
Okay. All right. Well, it sounds like you really have had that as a big part of your life. And it's nice that Kane had the opportunity for you to participate in music as well. So is there anything else? So you have been retired now for 30 years. What are some ways that you spend your time now?
Well, I do a lot of things at the church and helping out there. And I like to read, and I like to crochet.
Uh-huh.
And well, living here with all the other people, we usually meet every afternoon around 3:30.
Oh, okay, the people in the building where you live.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. So you get together at 3:30 and visit with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that's lovely. Is there anything else that you would want to share with us about your time in Kane or why you love it here? Anything that you didn't get a chance to share that you wanted to? And if not, that's okay too. I just want to make sure you had the opportunity. Well, thank you so much for sharing, and you did a great job. And I love hearing about your teaching career and about the music that you got to participate in, how you and your husband went on your first date, and just your family life sounds very rich as well. So thank you so much for staying here for 70 years and for all that you contribute to our community. I hope that you have a good rest of your day.
Oh, thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Hey, thank you so much for watching today. I think it's so interesting that Mrs. Magnuson taught at all those different schools around. And I just loved hearing her memories about her husband and the ways that she got to spend her time here in Kane. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'd love to hear, why did you come to Kane? Some of you moved here from different places, or if you're from Kane, why did you decide to stay? There's lots of great reasons, and I'd love to see those in the comments below. So thank you again for tuning in today, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 55.